Good morning. This lecture is about the course on Indian economics, or the course which is regarding the Indian economics. And in this session, in this course, we will discuss all the concepts of economics, how the economics runs, what is economy, what is economics, and we will discuss on the topics like growth, development, progress, national income, final goods, intermediate goods, capital formation, investment and fixed investment and net investment. From today onwards, this is the initial lecture or the first lecture, the first session in this Indian economy we are discussing. And this session is useful for examination point of view. The examination which includes college examination, university examination as an economy subject, or useful for competitive exams, debates and discussions, presentations, knowledge point of view, knowledge purpose, informatory skills, and increasing knowledge skills as well. Because this session includes all the dynamics, all the multifaceted objectives. That is why this lecture includes somehow the details, all the details of the Indian economics, either theoretically or somehow the discussion point of view. And this includes also wherever and whichever necessary the portion in Hindi as well. So what is Indian economics? Initially, what basically the economics and economy is. In Hindi, if we will say it, then we will say it something like Arthashastra and Arthvyavastha. So what is Indian economics? What is economy? So we will see the economics is the study of individuals, businesses, entrepreneurship, and the governments allocate limited resources to satisfy unlimited wants, because the resources which are very limited and the wants or the objectives, the aims, they are somehow seemed to be unlimited or endless. So that is why this is the study how the individuals, businesses, and governments allocate limited resources to unlimited wants. That is why this is the theoretical also, the economics. If we will say something, it focuses on production, distribution and consumption, transfer of wealth, analysis how incentives influence or how the wealth influence decision making and behavior in macro as well as macroeconomics, micro as well as macroeconomics. So this is all about the production, distribution and consumption, how the wealth is getting to be transferred, what is the analysis of wealth on decision making and behavior on either microeconomics, either macroeconomics. If you will see, macroeconomics or microeconomics is also a part of the economics. So this whole comes under economics. Or now what is economy? Economy is the system of production, distribution, trade. Trade means import and export, something like something, distribution, trade or supply of currency or money, we will say, and consumption of goods and services, encompassing all activities that manage resource within a given region, such as nation or a country. So it links consumers, behavior, businesses, and government's activity to satisfy needs through market-based command or mixed structures. So that is why it is called economy. If you will say about economics is the theoretical or somehow principle or somehow theoretical aspects of what the all these means, or the productions, distribution, or the wealth, the things which are related to wealth or distribution of wealth. If you will see the practical implementation, the application portion, the implementation portion, the applied portion, that it comes under the economy. So that is why what is Indian economics? Indian economics somehow seems what is the principle, what are the theories involved as well, and what are the implementation features, what is how we are going to apply those principle theories, those related concepts in practicality in day to day affairs, day to day life, that is called to be as the economy. Let us suppose we will say per capita income, we will say something like GDP. If we will say in contemporary basis that what is GDP nowadays, what are the per capita income, what is the inflation, what are the other measures which are either be related to production, distribution or trade, they seemed to be economy. But what is economics? What should be? What should be? That should be word should be added to the economics as well. If we will say it in Hindi, it is called अर्थव्यवस्था and अर्थशास्त्र और अर्थव्यवस्था, जहां पर अर्थव्यवस्था जो है वो ये बताती है कि एक इंडिविजुअल, किसी एक व्यक्ति विशेष को, बिजनेस को, किसी भी उद्यम को और गवर्नमेंट कैसे अपने संसाधनों का आवंटन करता है कि अपनी आवश्यकताओं की पूर्ति करने के लिए, क्योंकि जो इच्छाएं हैं वो तो अनंत है, बहुत सारी हैं, तो उन इच्छाओं की कैसे पूर्ति होगी, जो सीमित संसाधन है, जो संसाधन मौजूद है, तो इस तरीके से किसी फर्म के द्वारा, किसी गवर्नमेंट के द्वारा और किसी व्यक्ति विशेष के द्वारा इन सब की पूर्ति कैसे की जाती है, कैसे आवंटन, कैसे सिद्धिकरण किया जाता है, ये सारा का सारा इकोनॉमिक्स है। इकोनॉमिक्स जहां एक तरफ प्रोडक्शन की भी बात करता है, उत्पादन की और डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की, वितरण की, और कहीं ना कहीं कंजम्पशन, आहरण की बात करता है, ट्रांसफर ऑफ वेल्थ की बात करता है कि किस तरीके से पैसा या फिर करेंसी किस तरीके से इधर से उधर होती है, कैसे ट्रांसफर करती, कैसे सर्कुलेशन होता है इकोनॉमी में, और कहीं ना कहीं वो किस तरीके से सर्कुलेशन ऑफ वेल्थ जो है वो, मतलब चक्रण जो है किसका, पैसों का और मनी का, पैसे करेंसी का, और इस तरीके से वो किस तरीके से निर्णय क्षमता में प्रभाव डालते हैं, और कहीं ना कहीं जो बिहेवियर है उसमें प्रभाव डालते हैं, जो कि माइक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स मतलब और मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स कहने का अर्थ आता है व्यष्टि और समष्टि अर्थशास्त्र में भी परिलक्षित होती है, वो इकोनॉमिक्स है। इकोनॉमिक्स जहां पर एक तरफ से सैद्धांतिक पक्ष है और कहीं ना कहीं ऐसा पक्ष है जो ये बताता है क्या होना चाहिए, क्या सही है, कैसा होने पर कैसा होगा, ऐसा बताता है। वहीं पर इकोनॉमी जो है वो उसका प्रैक्टिकल पक्ष है और उसका वास्तविक और व्यवहारिक पक्ष है। इकोनॉमिक्स का व्यवहारिक पक्ष इकोनॉमी है, कैसे लग रहा है, इंप्लीमेंट हो रहे हैं, और क्या चीज है, एक सिस्टम, एक तंत्र है प्रोडक्शन का, कैसे सेम चीज प्रोडक्शन है, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है, सप्लाई ऑफ करेंसी है, और सर्विस, गुड्स और सर्विसेज मतलब सेवा और वस्तुएं किस तरीके से एक तंत्र में किस तरीके से घूमती है, क्या डिमांड और सप्लाई है, आपूर्ति और क्या मांग है, क्या मांग की लोच है, क्या फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी ऑफ डिमांड है, और क्या सारी की सारी गतिविधियां इनसे संबंधित हैं, जो कि किसी रिसोर्स से, किसी रीजन पे, किसी देश में और किसी पूरे अंतरराष्ट्रीय स्तर पे किसी देश के साथ हो रहा है, और कहीं ना कहीं नीड्स को पूरा करना मार्केट बेस्ड और कमांड और एक अर्थव्यवस्था में, क्योंकि अर्थव्यवस्था जो है वो बंद भी हो सकती है, ओपन भी हो सकती है, खुली अर्थव्यवस्था भी हो सकती है, और मिश्रित मिली हुई अर्थव्यवस्था, मिली जुली अर्थव्यवस्था भी हो सकती है। आइदर दैट इकोनॉमी मे बी आइदर ओपन, आइदर क्लोज और आइदर मिक्स्ड इकोनॉमी। तो इस तरीके से दैट इज व्हाई द इकोनॉमी एंड इकोनॉमिक्स इज। नाउ इफ वी विल डिस्कस अबाउट द ग्रोथ, व्हाट इज बेसिकली द ग्रोथ इज, growth is always, which we will say in Hindi is to be as vikas. So what is growth? Growth is quantitative economic progress is called growth. Is called growth. Growth is always seemed to be in terms of quantity, number, quantitative. So the quantitative analysis or progress, that is called growth. If economy growth is in terms of quantity, that is why it is called growth. Economic progress is always calculated in terms of quantity, that symbolize growth, and this expresses quantitative change in any individual area or country. Any kind of economic activity, if it will be changes in terms of quantity, that is why it is called growth. अगर हिंदी में बोले विकास, इसको बढ़ती, वृद्धि, उत्पत्ति भी बोलते हैं, उपज, कहीं ना कहीं प्रौढ़ता और समृद्धि, क्योंकि अगर नंबर्स में होगी, अगर ग्रोथ क्वांटिटेटिव होगी, मात्रात्मक होगी, उसको विकास बोलते हैं। इसको अगर ऐसा विकास जो मात्रात्मक है, उसी को बोलते हैं ग्रोथ। नाउ इफ यू विल सी आल्सो द डेवलपमेंट, व्हाट इज डेवलपमेंट? Development is the quantitative as well as qualitative progress is called development. Development is what? Any kind of quantitative as well as qualitative progress is called. Growth is called development. Development includes quantitative as well as qualitative progress. So what it is? Development in Hindi, it is also called growth. उसको भी विकास बोलते हैं, कहीं ना कहीं डेवलपमेंट को ही हिंदी में भी विकास बोलते हैं, लेकिन ऐसा विकास, ऐसा विकसन, ऐसा उत्थान, ऐसी उन्नति, ऐसा बढ़ाव जो कि मात्रात्मक भी है और गुणात्मक भी है। मात्रात्मक मीन्स क्वांटिटेटिव और गुणात्मक मतलब क्वालिटेटिव है, दैट इज कॉल्ड डेवलपमेंट। नाउ अब अगर आते हैं, वी विल सी डिस्कस द प्रोग्रेस, व्हाट द प्रोग्रेस इज। प्रोग्रेस मीन्स व्हाट, समथिंग लाइक प्रगति, उन्नति, उन्नति और तरक्की इन हिंदी। सो व्हाट इज प्रोग्रेस? इट इज एन एडवांस्ड स्टेट थ्रू अ सीरीज ऑफ इवेंट्स, डेवलपमेंट through time. Suppose there is a time making, or there is a span of time. If there is an advancement through a event or development through time, समय के अनुसार होने वाली बढ़ोतरी, एक विकास, ऐसा विकास जो सारी के सारी इवेंट्स की श्रृंखला में जुड़ता चला जाए, उसे ही कहते हैं उत्थान, उसे ही कहते हैं प्रगति। दैट इज व्हाई इट इज कॉल्ड प्रोग्रेस। सो नाउ व्हाट इज नेशनल इनकम? वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। व्हाट इज नेशनल इनकम को हिंदी में राष्ट्रीय आय, इट इज कॉल्ड राष्ट्रीय आय। So what is national income? National income is the measurement of, it is the measurement of flow of service and goods in terms of either in currency, mostly in currency, or in terms of others, is called, in an ecosystem, is called national income. National income is generally broadly, if you will see, the measurement of flow of service and goods, that is called, in an economic system, that is called national income. राष्ट्रीय आय कहलाता है कि एक मेजरमेंट, एक मापन है, किसका मापन है? फ्लो ऑफ सर्विसेज, कैसे सर्विसेज चलती हैं, कैसे सर्विस और गुड्स, वस्तु और सेवाएं किस तरीके से एक आर्थिक तंत्र में चलती हैं, रन करती हैं, फ्लो करती हैं, और फिर वो आय का अर्जन करती हैं। It will create somehow the development of currency, that is called what? That is called national income. National income is nothing but a measurement, definitely is all about the measurement of services and goods. Now what is final good? Final good, which is also called what? Which is also called tayyar vastuein. What it is? What is final goods? Any commodity means vastuein, any commodity which is produced and subsequently consumed by the consumer to satisfy its current wants, the present wants or needs, is a final or consumer goods, or consumer goods. So that is why final goods is the goods which is completely or finalized and near about to consume. So any kind of commodity which is produced and subsequently consumed by the consumer to satisfy. Why consumer will consume? Because to satisfy its needs, to satisfy its wants. So national income includes only final goods. Now if you will see the national income, so this is a point of discussion, this is very important point here to be noted, that national income always includes final goods. Final goods or national income will always calculated in terms of final goods, or we will say, if we will promisingly emphasize on final goods, then final goods will lead toward the symbolization or the indication of national income. अगर हिंदी में बोले फाइनल गुड्स का अर्थात होता है तैयार वस्तुएं। तैयार वस्तुएं मतलब ये होता है, कोई भी अगर वस्तुएं तैयार हुई, उत्पादन हुआ, उत्पादन होने के बाद फलस्वरूप क्या हुआ? फलस्वरूप किसी भी उपभोक्ता के द्वारा उपभोग की गई अपनी आवश्यकताओं की पूर्ति के लिए इस तरीके की वस्तुओं को कहलाता है तैयार वस्तुएं, या फिर फाइनल, जो अंत की जो स्थिति में वस्तुएं होती हैं वो। और जो राष्ट्रीय आय होती है, राष्ट्रीय आय हमेशा फाइनल गुड्स यानी अंतिम वस्तुओं और जो तैयार वस्तुएं हैं उनके टर्म्स में, उन्हीं के टर्म्स में कैलकुलेट की जाती है। What are intermediary goods? Now intermediary goods which are also called मध्यवर्ती वस्तुएं। What is intermediate goods? Intermediate goods refers to those goods which are either used for resale or for repurpose, for redistribute, and for further production in the same year. So let us suppose some goods which is in flow or in between, that is intermediate goods. So this includes what? This includes goods used for resale, again for selling purpose, or goods used for further production, the goods utilized for further production, that is called intermediate goods. Or let us suppose sugar. A single goods may be used either as an intermediate good or final good. How it can be used? Let us suppose sugar is there, some sugar is an intermediate good. When it is an intermediate good? When it is used for making some more goods, some more like sweets, some more other items from or other articles objective like this. If sugar is a final good, when it is said to be a final good, if it is used for consumer to consume only as a sugar, that is why it is a final good. So final good here, sugar is when it is to be consumed directly. If it is to be used for the making or baking or some other product, that is called what? Intermediary goods. So intermediary goods का अर्थात होता है मध्यवर्ती वस्तुएं, और मध्यवर्ती वस्तुओं का आशय और अर्थ यहाँ पर यह है ऐसी वस्तुएं जिनको दोबारा पुनर्वितरण के लिए या वितरण इन बिटवीन, इन बीच में कहीं मध्यवर्ती चीजों में वितरण के लिए प्रयोग में लेते हैं ताकि उसको दोबारा से ऐसी वस्तुओं को दोबारा सेल किया जाए कुछ और बनने के लिए, कोई और चीज कोई और वस्तुओं के बनाने के लिए जिन वस्तुओं को मध्य में यूज किया, ऐसी वस्तुएं जो इन फ्लो में लगातार होती हैं, चैनलाइज चेन में होती हैं, उन्हें ही जो है मध्यवर्ती वस्तुएं कहा जाता है. नाउ व्हाट इज कैपिटल गुड्स? व्हाट इज कैपिटल गुड्स? Capital goods means any tangible assets that an organization uses to produce goods or services such as office building, equipment or machinery, that is called capital goods. Or if we will say, let us suppose the goods which is used to which increases the capital or which is made after the capital, we may also let's say like this. Now here one more thing which is very which is of great concern, that what are tangible goods, tangible assets? Those assets which can be touched physically, they are called tangible assets. Those assets which can't be touched, they are called intangible assets. Those assets which can't be touched, they are intangible assets. Those assets which can be touched physically, that is tangible assets. तो कैपिटल फॉर्मेशन मतलब होता है पूंजीगत वस्तुएं, ऐसी वस्तुएं जो पूंजी को जन्म दें या पूंजी लगा के जो वस्तुएं हो, दैट इज कॉल्ड पूंजीगत वस्तुएं. इट मींस एनी टेंजिबल, कोई भी ऐसी छुई जाने वाली ऐसी वस्तुएं जिनको फिजिकली रियलाइज कर सकते, भौतिक रूप से आभास कर सकते हैं किसी भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर, जो प्रोड्यूस करें, जो पैदा करें गुड्स और सर्विसेज, ऐसी सेवा और वस्तुओं को, जैसे किसी भी ऑफिस में हो गया, बिल्डिंग, इक्विपमेंट, मशीनरी, ये सब चीजें, ये सब क्या है? कैपिटल गुड्स हैं. दीज आर कॉल्ड पूंजीगत वस्तुएं. पूंजीगत वस्तुएं कहलाती हैं, जैसे बिल्डिंग्स, इक्विपमेंट, मशीनरी वगैरह. लेट अस सपोज which generates some capital, or the goods or services which generate some capital, that is which are inside the organization after the production, that is called what? Capital goods as well. पूंजीगत वस्तुएं, जैसे अगर कमर्शियल क्रॉपिंग्स, जैसे कोई क्रॉप्स होती हैं, जब हम लगाते हैं पौधे, कमर्शियल क्रॉप्स आर एग्जांपल ऑफ capital goods. Yes, because they are only made for the purpose of what? Buying and selling, import and export. That is why they are called capital goods as well, which we may also say like this. What is capital formation? Capital formation means what? पूंजी का निर्माण करना. It means that to increase the capital, to increase the money, to increase the wealth, that is called capital formation. Or we may say it refers to net addition of capital stock. Net addition or means addition means plus in the capital stock, such as equipment. It may be in terms of equipment, it may be in terms of building or some land also, it may be in terms of intermediary goods as well. तो कैपिटल फॉर्मेशन का मतलब होता है पूंजी का निर्माण करना, पूंजी को बढ़ाना, उसकी रचना करना पूंजी की. तो वो कैसे हो सकती है? जब कैपिटल बढ़ेगी, जब पूंजी बढ़ेगी स्टॉक में, कैसे बढ़ सकती है? वो इक्विपमेंट के रूप में बढ़ सकती है, कैश के रूप में, नगद के रूप में बढ़ सकती है, बिल्डिंग के रूप में बढ़ सकती है, इंटरमीडिएटरी एसेट्स के रूप में बढ़ सकती है, इंटरमीडिएटरी गुड्स के रूप में, मध्यवर्ती वस्तुओं के रूप में भी बढ़ सकते हैं. That is why it is called what? Capital formation. Now next is called investment. Here we will see three terms, basically the terms which is called investment, or which we call gross investment or gross investment. Then we will say fixed investment, or we will say fixed investment. Investment, if we will say in terms of gross investment or net investment, then it is called a Shuddha Nivesh. If we will say in terms of fixed investment, it will say some Sthir Nivesh or Savadhi Nivesh or Sthir Viniyog, or we will say something like Nishchit Viniyog, Nishchit Nivesh. Fixed investment is just called in English. And net investment means Shuddha Nivesh. If gross investment means complete Nivesh, complete jitna bhi kharch kiya, that is called gross investment. If we will say, let us suppose investment, so it is quite important to know what basically the investment is. any asset or item, that is, or any asset or material object, or we may say any kind of asset or any kind of material object, identity, we will say any kind of asset that is purchased, जो खरीदा जाए, that is purchased with the hope or with the feel that, or with in context to the thinking that it will generate income or appreciate income or increase the income in near future, in near coming time, that is called investment. And in other way, if we, that is why it is called nivesh. And in other words, secondarily, if you will say, if in more terms, moreover, we will say, then it is an investment for purchase of goods. For purchase of goods, if we are purchasing some goods that are not consumed today, however it may be not consumed today, it may possible, but are used in future, but may used in future to create money, to create or to generate wealth, to create wealth. That is why it is called investment. Or in finance, let us suppose, in finance, an investment is a main asset that purchased with the idea or with the thinking, with the theme that asset will produce income in the future, asset will produce definitely income in the future. That is why it is called investment. अगर investment को बोले तो निवेश, निवेश का मतलब क्या होता है, भले ही आज इन्वेस्टमेंट ना, भले ही आज पैसा जनरेट ना हो रहा हो या कंजम्पशन होकर के उसमें कोई रिटर्न ना हो किसी चीज में, कोई ऐसी वस्तु में, कोई ऐसी सेवा, लेकिन भविष्य में किसी वस्तु को जो कि ऐसे जोड़ी गई है और निकट भविष्य में उससे पैदा हो सकती हैं ऐसी वस्तुएं और इनकम जनरेट हो सकती है, उसे ही निवेश बोलते हैं। जैसे कई बार निवेश को जमीन खरीदने में, लैंड में, के बाद बिल्डिंग बनाने में, कोई चीज जोड़ने में ऐसे कर दिया जाता है, तो दैट इज व्हाई इट इज कॉल्ड टू बी एज इन्वेस्टमेंट। Now what is fixed investment? Fixed investment means स्थिर निवेश, सावधि। Let us suppose फिक्स डिपॉजिट इज देयर। क्यों कराते हैं? अगर फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन लाइक बैंक है, पोस्ट ऑफिस है, कोई भी और फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन है, किसी ऐसी जगह पर क्यों फिक्स्ड डिपॉजिट कराते हैं? क्योंकि इन फिक्स्ड डिपॉजिट देयर इज एन इंटरेस्ट which is binding for the entire time period up to where the fixed investment is getting to be done. That return, that kind of interest is not getting to change so smoothly. So what or that is why it is called fixed what investment. Fixed is investment assures the amount of what is getting to be returned after investing that quantity of amount of wealth or capital. So that is why fixed investment in economics refers to the investment in fixed capital or to replacement of depreciated fixed capital. Thus it is an investment in physical asset. Let us suppose machinery also, land also, building also, vehicle also. So this is called to be as something like fixed investment as well. Fixed investment, if it is terms of deposit, then it is called fixed deposit also. So that is why fixed investment, what fixed investment is the main theme or the principal amount or the amount, the assured amount which is getting to be returned, that is called fixed investment. Now what is net investment? Net investment, fixed investment जहां पर एक सावधि निवेश बोलते हैं, स्थिर निवेश बोलते हैं, ऐसा स्टैटिक निवेश जो वापस आना ही आना है, लाभांश, लाभ के रूप में जो प्राप्त वापस होना ही होना है. What is net investment? Net investment, the amount of company invest in a business assets that does account for any depreciation. So what is depreciation? Depreciation means in Hindi it is called मूल्य ह्रास. Let us suppose there is a machinery of 1 lakh today, some amount, let us suppose 1 lakh today. After 1 year it is of 90,000. So what kind of depreciation during the 1 year? 10,000 or some amount. So it means that there is a decrease in the value in context of the assets which is to be added in that contemporary time. So that is why it is called depreciation. Depreciation means the decrement in the value of any kind of what objective or article, that is called depreciation. So net investment is equal to investment minus depreciation. That is why it is called what? That is why it is called net investment. Net investment का मतलब यह है जो इन्वेस्टमेंट किया है अगर मूल्य ह्रास को माइनस कर दिया जाए तो अभी क्या नेट इन्वेस्टमेंट है, that is why it is called. और net investment plus depreciation is equal to investment, if we will say like this. So it means that what we have discussed today is in this first lecture, what we will discuss, or in this first session, we will discuss about the Indian economy. The economics, however, is the portion of the theoretical aspects of the production, distribution, and consumption, transfer of wealth, or the money creation, something like analysis. It's analysis on the decision making and behavior on microeconomics and macroeconomics. Whereas the economy is the practical and implementation portion of the economics as well. That is why it is called Arthavyavastha in Hindi, and that is also used in the same parameters. It is used to what decide the contemporary situations in the principle or the theories of the economics. Then what are the calculations in the contemporary period, and what is, let us suppose, inflation, what is trade, what is supply of currency, what is production distribution in terms of contemporary area, what are the technologies inside this in present, that is economy, which is going to drive an entire nation, region, or international forum whatsoever. What is growth? Growth here means vikas in terms of quantity, development. Development means quantitative as well as qualitative progress. Progress means addition in the events through the time, development through the time, that is progress. What is national income? Measure of flow of service and goods. And what is final goods? Final goods means which are finally consumed by the consumer to gain its what objective, to gain its needs. That is why final intermediary goods are those goods which are used to make some other goods or for resale purpose. And any good may be assumed to be as intermediary good or final good in context to whatever work has been done. And what is capital good? Which is going to create wealth, or which is generated, or which is what get after the investing the wealth. That is why capital good is there. Capital formation means to increase the capital, to make the capital, that is called capital formation. Capital stock, to increase the addition of capital stock, is called capital formation. Investment, fixed investment, and net investment may be understand in terms of net investment is equal to investment minus depreciation. As said earlier, this session is very useful for the examination point of view. That examination may be of multi-choice question answer examination, maybe writing purpose answer, maybe somehow it may be used, this information may be used for the debate presentations or session purposes, for some knowledge plus or informatory sessions. This may be for some educational positive or plus or addition point of view. However, this session is a multifaceted session or lecture. However, we will continue this lecture, the lecture number 2 or lecture number 2, 3, 4, and as we will go, this is the first lecture or the first session of this course on Indian economy. And we have just discussed, अभी जो discuss किया, ये जो जितने भी points थे, as we have discussed as it now, and we will discuss near future what are the more advanced concepts regarding to Indian economy, and how they implement, and what are the current situation in context to Indian economy. This whole comes under what? This whole we will discuss about the session lecture number 1 in the near coming future, nearby tomorrow or day after. As we will discuss the coming lectures, we will go through the advanced version of the Indian economy, or the more concepts of the Indian, well known or well recognized concepts of the Indian economy.